Hello everyone, welcome to the Institute of Refrigeration webinar all about membership. I'm just going to talk you through the application process. A lot of these applications can seem a bit daunting, so just to explain what we're looking for when we invite you to apply to join the Institute. And I'll go through a few slides telling you about what's involved. Just to remind you to start with, that when you're applying to join the Institute, you're joining a community of 2,500 individuals, so it's only individual membership. And everyone brings their own expertise to the Institute. So we really are a community of interested people who are really committed to refrigeration, air conditioning, and heat pumps. There's a variety of members working in all sorts of different levels, all the way through from business owners to technicians and students, hands-on service engineers, site managers, researchers, and teachers. So really a great diverse group. The application process you can see on the page of the website. We've broken it down into 4 steps. Initially, you have to sign up for an account so that we've got all your details online on the website. And then you go through the membership form where you select the grade that you want to apply for and give us your career history, details of your technical experience and your expertise in refrigeration, air conditioning or heat pumping. You pay a joining fee. You'll have access then to the website to be able to download lots of really interesting, good technical information. And then finally, you'll be contacted to confirm what grade of membership you'll be offered. So the application process is completely online. You have an opportunity there to fill all the details out, tell us all the wonderful things you've been doing in your career, and explain to us the responsibilities of your jobs and your recent jobs and your previous jobs. You also have an opportunity to upload qualifications and copies of any certificates for other memberships or things like that. So have all that material ready before you start your application. Have the scans there ready to upload because you can do that as part of the form. You can also go back if you like, save the form and go back and fill them in later, but it's easier to do it all in one go. You can select the grade that you want to apply for, or you can just leave it blank and let our committee allocate the most appropriate one for you. This is up to you. The process is that once you've done the online application, that's forwarded off to a group of members. So we have a group of 12 Institute members, again, diverse backgrounds, who looked at every single application individually to make sure that we give you a grade of membership that really reflects the level of responsibility and the length of time in that kind of responsible role. And just to really be clear, your experience counts just as much or even more in some cases as qualifications. So that's not necessary to have a degree or even a NVQ. The important thing is that you have a good experience and you have evidence of that experience through the kind of statements that you make, but also through a sponsor confirming that with us. I say once you're told your grade, you'll then be asked to pay the full membership fee according to that grade. So what are the different grades? Well, again, they are explained on the website, but I wanted to show you here as well. We have full membership. So it's somebody who has really, it's quite an important grade. We have somebody who's in a senior management role for at least 3 years. So it's not when you first get that management role that you're allocated a member grade. It's when you've got experience that's proven that you can work at that level. A wide variety of range of jobs, job titles, and background there. And all of this information is on the website. There's the link there if you want to review it and consider how your experience fits. The other grade we have is associate member. So this is somebody with not quite so much length of experience. They might just be in their first management role, for example, a fairly early stage in their career or having moved out of another sector and just moved into refrigeration. So they would be given an associate AM role. The important thing about associate is that they also have access to something we call the pathways. So the pathways initiative is where we pair you up with an existing member and they work with you on what experience and CPD you need to plan to get yourself up to that full MN-Star membership grade. So that's a nice added option that we can have if you do go for associate member. We also have student and pre-associate for those who really are literally just in their first job. It may not be a highly responsible job. It may be their first job in the industry and they are just coming into the industry and want to get started. So that's their very first step on the ladder, if you like, is pre-associate, or of course students who are learning their way. We also have a special grade for technicians. So those are people who are hands-on roles, very much out in the field, commissioning service, maintenance engineers. and that type of thing, there is a minimum requirement there that you do at least have your F-gas regulation, and you can get somebody to give a statement to confirm you've got 3 years working in the industry, and then you would get technician membership. There is a guide. I really recommend that you download this. It's on the web page that I showed previously, and it explains exactly the length required and the level of qualifications and how those are evaluated in order to allocate a suitable grade. Also gives you a summary of the benefits of each grade and the current fee levels. So we find often people are not too sure what the difference is between member and associate. So I just wanted to clarify that, because, you know, if you apply for member but you don't have sufficient experience, it can be a little bit daunting. So we do want to make it clear that it's a leadership or first level leadership, a first level managerial role. You have to be responsible for other people or for major areas of work, major sites. You might be responsible for other site personnel who don't report to you directly, but you're responsible for the work they do. And you have to have a very thorough design technical knowledge as well to back that up. And remember, it's the number of years of experience that counts, not just the fact that you've currently or recently been given a promotion to that level. You have to have shown that you can work at that level before the grade is considered. So that's all the sort of difference between member and associate. We also have a section in the application form called professional experience. So whilst most of the form is almost like a CV, length of time in a particular role, we have an area where you can tell us a lot more about the kind of work you're doing. There's, first of all, something that says, well, give us some practical examples. Tell us the most recent work that you did or a job that you're particularly proud of, but something that shows how you can apply your technical knowledge and your problem-solving ability in practice. Then we also, on the second question, we have some examples of responsibilities throughout your career, or at least through the 10 years of your career. So giving a bit of breadth and depth to the application form, rather than just a job title and a list of responsibilities, going much more into giving some examples of the kind of things you're doing. And then our third question, we are asking people to tell us a little bit about, if you like, their commitment to the industry. How are they currently keeping up to date with technical developments? Things that they've been involved in. Have they been involved in going to conferences or working on committees or standards? Have they been supporting, training other people? Have they been going to regional events and going to conferences and keeping themselves up to date? So we're looking to also validate, if you like, your experience, not just your experience and technical ability, but also your commitment to the industry, because that's what we want our members to be. People who are credible but also who can contribute and put back into the industry. So a couple of quick hints and tips when you're completing your application. Make sure that you put as much detail as possible. Under your job title, if you just say MD or self-employed, it's very hard for that committee to understand what that really means, because a self-employed person might just be themselves, having just started there, or they might be somebody who actually working in a network of 20 or 30 people and working together. An MD might be, again, themselves and maybe a family member running a small business, or it might be a huge business with thousands of people. So please do put a lot more information. Obviously, if you are in a very, very senior role, you know that you're responsible for everything. But the committee don't necessarily know what your business does. So please do give us as much information as possible, because people often trip up on that one. Also, again, make sure that there are gaps in the CV, even if it's not in a relevant sector. If you say, well, I've been working for 10 or 15 years in a different sector, explain what it is, because it's all quite relevant. If there's a responsible managerial role, that will be taken into account, and that will help your application. So if there are gaps, people ask questions, why, what are they trying to hide? But please tell us. We want to know. So that's the lack of detail, gaps in the careers. The other things, lack of detail is sometimes people will say, well, I've been with this company 20 years. But normally, if one has been with a company that long, they've been doing different jobs. So again, explain the different jobs. I started as an apprentice, I moved up to a management role, I'm now in charge of this. It gives them an idea of what your current role is, because otherwise they don't know how long you've been doing that role and how long you've been in a responsible role compared to, say, when you first started. So please, as much as detail, you really can't give enough detail. There's plenty of room on the form to do that. You can even attach a separate CV if you've got something ready prepared to give that more detail. And the other one that people often struggle with is because they've recently been appointed to a management role or a leadership role, they think, I'll join the Institute. I want to show that I'm now in a very, very senior role. I want the M in star after my name. But remember, I have said previously that the membership grade is only for those who've been in that level of work for several years. So if you apply and when you get your first management role, you're more likely to be offered associate member. And then we would invite you after a couple of years, when you've got suitable length of responsibility, to apply for advancement to full member, and the committee will be happy to reconsider at that stage. There's no charge for a reconsideration or application for advancement. You don't have to pay any extra. Obviously, you pay the difference between the two grades if there's a difference in the fee. And that normally is when you renew the next year. So there's no cost, a joining fee or anything, or double fee. You simply apply for advancement. And certainly if you are in that position, we would really recommend you join this pathway scheme I mentioned, because then you can work with somebody who's very familiar with the grades, very familiar with what the Institute offers and what development opportunities there are within the Institute, and they can help you collect the evidence that will make a really good advancement application at the right time. So yeah, I mentioned the membership pathways. So it's really designed for associates and pre-associates who want to work towards getting full member grade. They're not too clear what they need to do and how long it's going to take to get there. So we allocate you with an existing member. You work one-to-one as very much a confidential personal relationship, develop a plan, you carry out the activities in that plan, and it helps you to understand how your current experience matches our current grading and how you can work within that role even to work yourself up to member grade experience. And then you apply in the normal way for advancement. As I said, there's no additional cost, but you do have to provide an application form which explains what you've been doing in the last couple of years since you applied or since you got your full membership application. So yeah, so that's a really interesting scheme that we've just been running for a year or so, and people are finding that really valuable to help them review where they want to go with their career and how it fits within what the Institute can offer them. And then, so that's really the talk about the application process. It's all online. Any queries, questions, do contact us. There's a helpline there. But, you know, just to remind you what the benefits of membership are, why we ask you to go through this process. And it is a complex process in many ways, because membership means something and it is important. It's not just a subscription, it is a membership. The IOR is owned by its members, and our members work really hard to keep our industry advancing and to tackle issues such as climate change, skill shortages, technology developments together. So there is a certain status being part of an institute such as the IOR. So as a member, you will get recognition. You will get a membership badge that you can show people, but more importantly, you will have initials after your name for member, associate, or technician member. You can put those on your business cards and CVs. So it's important way of showing to other people that you're involved in your industry. Of course, you'll have access to reliable technical information, and we've organised it so that the minute you join, you will have access to that information before your grade is confirmed. So once you've applied, you will be able to go on our website and download all those bulletins that are currently on there. But in addition, as a member, we will mail you every fortnight or so and let you know the latest thing that's happening and put new bulletins and new booklets up there. So it's all done electronically. I think we postal mail just twice a year now. And remember that much of what we offer will give you that important CPD, a continual professional development certificate. So for either if your business reviews, your personal reviews at work, or if you're a member of the Engineering Council or other accreditation schemes, they like to see that you are doing things to keep yourself up to date and maintain your technical competence. Then a lot of things that the Institute offers you in terms of events and publications and e-learning will give you that evidence. We do a lot of online and in-person networking events, both regionally and nationally. So we do things for different special interest groups, but also practical talks for technicians, conferences, some social events as well. So watch on our website and watch for your emails for all the news about what's going on. A lot of it is online, but a lot of practical in-person events so that you can meet people and get to know what's going on in the sector. And then finally, to remind you, once you are a member of an institute such as the IOR, you have the potential to apply to become Engineering Council registered. Chartered Engineer is the most well known, but also Incorporated or Engineering Technician. So you can only apply for that if you are a member of an institute. And so there's lots of information on our website about that. It's a separate application process. And again, quite complex, quite detailed, very strict requirements, but it is an option for you, which a lot of people are interested in. And that takes us to the end. So thank you very much for listening to our short introduction to the Institute joining process. I hope you will fill in your application form. And as I said, on the website, lots of guidance and also a helpline and an email address if you do need any further advice. My name is Miriam Rodway. I'm the CEO of the Institute of Refrigeration, and you can contact me at any time as well. I'd be happy to help you and look forward to seeing you at some point in the future. Thank you.